Making more money versus spending less money. Which one should you focus on? Today's video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of both of those ideas. Making more money will give you more money to live on. It'll allow you to pay down debt, to save money. All of those things will make your life better. And if you happen to be living paycheck to paycheck now, making more money will definitely make your life better because it'll remove a lot of stress from your life. Another way to make more money is through education, whether it's a degree, some kind of certification, or just learning a new skill. And if that's the way that you decide to go to try to make more money, then the other benefit of that is it makes you a better person. It develops personal growth for you. And you just become more skilled and better and more confident and just more valuable in the job market. And that lasts forever. If you go the route of a side hustle for trying to make more money, that is just such a wonderful thing, because I did finally have one that succeeded, and that was selling on eBay. But a side hustle, besides making you more money, it's a different way of making money besides your job. And you always have that. So if something happens with your job, at least you've got the side hustle. And maybe you're not making enough to live on, but at least you're bringing something in. So side hustle, another good way to make extra money. All right, so we've talked about the pros of making more money to build wealth. What about the cons of making more money to build wealth? What are you saying? Cons? What could be bad about making more money? Well, there are a few things that definitely could be bad about making more money. All right, so I think the biggest danger of making more money in order to build wealth is that if you make more money, you might start spending more money. Well, what's wrong with that? Well, if you're in debt and you're not saving and you start making more money and you don't concentrate on paying down that debt and saving money, you just start spending more money. Instead of being $10,000 in debt, you're $50,000 in debt because you're making more money, you have a higher income, you can be approved for more debt. So making more money can allow you to get deeper in debt and actually put you in a worse position than when you were making less money. More money, more problems. Another very obvious, and I think the first thing people are going to think of when they say, oh, I'll just make more money to build wealth. It's not easy just to make more money. Most people are, making as much as they can. So making more money is just a hard one to actually make happen, or it just might take a lot of time to start making more money. Another way making more money could be detrimental to your life is if your way of making more money is a side hustle or starting a business or working a second job, then that could lead to you just spending too much time working and not being able to live your life. Making more money is great, but it's not great if you end up with a miserable life because all you're doing is working and you don't have time to take care of yourself. You don't have time to do anything fun. You don't have time to spend with people that you love. It's a real danger spending too much time working and just making your life miserable. All right, we talked about the pros and cons of making more money. What about the pros and cons of spending less? Well, let's talk about the pros of spending less first. You can start right now. It can be immediately. You can say, I'm not going to spend money on this and that and something else. Unlike trying to make more money, which might take time, spending less can be almost immediately. I'm pretty confident that most people have enough frivolous expenses that they go out and spend money on that they can cut back on the money that they're spending on things and start spending less. Another big benefit of spending less is if you spend less to pay off a debt with the sole focus of I'm going to pay down my credit card debt, my car payment, my student loan, whatever. Once that debt payment is paid off, now you've got that debt payment money. Say, you spent $100 on a debt payment and you paid that off. Now you've got that $100 to spend on something else, on a different debt payment or saving. When you spend less, when you become more frugal, it starts becoming easier to become more frugal. Once you start spending less and you realize, that's not too bad, I can deal with this. It's like exercising a muscle. You go to the gym the first time, you get done. The next day, your muscles are all sore, your joints are achy, and you're like, oh. But you go to the gym regularly for a few weeks, a month. That first workout that you did, that doesn't hurt you like it did the first time that you did it. It's the same with frugality. You build up the strength of being more frugal. And the other thing about being frugal is you might actually find out that your life literally improves because you become more frugal. And I'm not talking just about because of the money. I'm talking about because you're not cluttering up your life with the distractions of, I need this, I need that. Oh, I want to save up some money to buy this next thing, or going out to dinner, or whatever. And you just have more time and more peace in your life. And your life just is easier and nicer. Another great benefit of lowering your expenses. Now, maybe lowering your expenses just makes it easier for you to live your life. Maybe you're not living from paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you can pay down some debt and save some money, and that's fine. That's great. But you might find, especially over time, especially over 5, 10, 15 years, you might find that if you lower your expenses, you live a simpler life, now you realize that you don't have to save up as much as you thought you might need to save up for retirement. Or an even better thing is you might really decide that you don't need to work as hard as you've been working. Maybe you don't need to work the stressful job that you work in. You can take something, a little bit less stressful. You don't need to work the overtime that you've been working. You can cut out on that and start living your life better, doing more things. Maybe you have a side hustle or a little business on the side, or something that you've been doing. Maybe you can just go do that full time, and you don't need your full-time job. That is one of the best things, I think, about lowering your expenses and living on less. Is it makes it easier to live. Last pro that I have for spending less in order to save more money or to get out of debt is, if you spend less and lower your expenses, and you're able to invest in a 401k, 403b, or any other tax advantaged account, which means whatever money that you put into that account, that retirement account, you don't have to pay taxes on that money. If you can put a substantial amount in there, that means that you're not paying tax on the money that you put in there. So let's just say you put in $10,000 in your 401k, your tax advantaged account, whatever that is. $10,000, say the average person pays 20 to 25% tax on that money, and you put $10,000 into a tax advantaged account, now you've got an extra $2,000, $2,500 in your pocket that you can do something with, that you can spend, that you can pay down debt, or that you can put into savings. An extra $2,500 for saving $10,000. Doesn't get better than that. All right, let's go over the cons of spending less. I think right out of the gate, what I want to talk about is a feeling of you're missing out on life because you're spending less, which can easily happen. I mean, you can cut back on things and spend a little bit less and not have it feel like a sacrifice. But a lot of times, once you start saving more, you focus on that money, and then you cut out more and more and more things. And you can get to a point where you're not living your life anymore. You're not doing anything that's fun. Everything is about spending money. So that is definitely a danger. It just as bad as working extra to make more money and not having time for your life is saving so much that you don't have a life because you're not doing anything but paying bills. You're not having any fun. You're not doing anything enjoyable because it might cost you $1. So that's definitely a danger of spending less. And if you're miserable because you're not spending any money on your life and fun things in your life, it's not going to be sustainable. Don't go there. Another con of spending less in order to build wealth is there's a limit to how much you can cut back. Being frugal is definitely a good way to live your life. It can help you decrease your expenses and help your financial life tremendously. No matter how frugal you are, there comes a point where there's no more that you can cut out. Unlike making money, where in theory, there is no limit. I think one of the biggest dangers of becoming frugal to save money is you could cross that boundary from frugal to cheap. Nobody wants to go there. Well, you might want to go there, but it's going to change your life for the worse. Being frugal is a superpower. Being frugal can definitely improve your life. Being cheap, yeah, you might be able to save some money, but being cheap is not a good thing. And there's a different definition for everybody for what's being cheap. But I think there's some things that we can all agree on is well past frugal and definitely into the cheap territory. And that's things like not leaving tips, not paying your fair share. You go out with your friends, you never buy around. And, when it comes time to pay, oh, yeah, I forgot my wallet, things like that. Another thing that you can tell when somebody's cheap is when they complain about everything being expensive. It costs money to live your life. And yes, prices go up and things get more expensive and some things are ridiculous. But if that's your whole life is complaining about things are too expensive, you might want to look at that and adjust. Another thing is just always going for the cheapest thing. No matter what, everything in your life is based on, whatever you need, just getting the cheapest thing. For one, sometimes it's not cheaper because the cheapest thing is a piece of crap and you're not going to be happy with it. And then you're going to have to go out and purchase whatever that is again. Just getting the cheapest thing can definitely be cheap and not frugal. Look for value. Value will make you happy and it might save you money. I think, no, I'm going to rephrase that. It's going to definitely save you money in the long term. If you shop for value over just the cheapest option, it's going to save you money. It's going to make you happier. It's going to make your life better. Frugal, thumbs up. It's a superpower. It's going to make your life better. Being cheap, not so much. So which one should you focus on to build wealth? Saving money or making more money? It depends on your situation. Where are you? Are you in a low-paying job? Well, maybe you should look at switching careers or getting a side hustle. Do you already have a great job? Are you making a lot of money and still living paycheck to paycheck? Well, you need to spend less money and get your life in order. Get your finances in order. Your finances are not your whole life, but it's an important part of your life. So if you're making a good wage, if you're making good money and you're struggling financially, yeah, look at it. You're probably spending too much money in some area of your life. And changing that will make your life better. Now, my opinion, because I live a simple, easy life, so this might be easy for me to say, but my opinion, most of the people that I'm friends with, that I hang out with, that I used to work with, I hear them talk about their life, and I definitely think that most people that live in this country could cut back on their spending. But if you're struggling with your finances, unless you're already frugal, unless you're already a minimalist, my opinion, most people could cut out a lot of the spending that they do. That doesn't have to be forever. Just getting rid of some debt will help. So if you just do it short term and you get rid of some debt, then maybe you've climbed out of the hole a little bit and then life will be easier and you can go back to spending a little bit more money. So my story is, in my 40s, I had some health problems and I realized that not so much that I wanted to retire, but that I wanted not to have to work if I didn't want to. So I wanted to become FI, financially independent. So I started really learning about investing, paying down debt, saving, and investing money. And it made a huge difference, and it snowballed quickly. Cutting back on spending is what really helped me to achieve financial independence, because I was just spending way too much money on stupid stuff all the time. The thing is you really should be working on both these things, trying to make more money and cutting back on spending. And you can work on both at the same time. It's possible. A lot of other people are doing it. You see videos all over YouTube about people getting out of debt and saving money and learning how to invest and just really improving their life financially, their financial lives. And it's possible. It's possible for you to do it. You can. Just start. That's about all I got for this episode. Thanks for watching, if you watched till the end. And I'll see you next week. Or maybe the week after. I don't know. I don't always make a video every week. But I'll see you next time. Later.